Hi there, welcome to my first Planet Coaster video. Now I'm very new to Planet Coaster in general. I only played Planet Coaster 1 for about 3 months before Planet Coaster 2 was announced. I don't do really any other gaming very much, but I've got really inspired by building things in Planet Coaster, and it's just a great way to spend some time, and I really get lost in these games. So I couldn't wait for Planet Coaster 2 to come out. Now I have seen some negative comments, but I don't find anything particularly to hate about the game. I think it plays very similarly to Planet Coaster 1. Now I will say that I use a console version, but I do use a mouse and keyboard, and I think that's so much easier than using the controller just for moving about and placing things, particularly using the camera and moving around the map. It's so much easier using a mouse than using a controller. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you a very quick guided tour of what I've built so far since Planet Coaster 2 came out, and at time of filming I've had the game for about a week and a half, so this is a week and a half's worth of work. So I'm going to do a very quick guided tour in this video. I'm not going to spend loads of time talking about individual pieces that are used, but I'm just going to give you a quick brief overview of what's happened so far. So the first thing that I built was this entrance building here, and it ended up a lot bigger than I expected it to be. I'd used a photograph from the internet of a church in the style that I wanted to use, but it just grew and grew and got out of hand a little bit. But I have used all pieces as they were intended to be used. I didn't really do any wacky custom roofs or any of those kind of things, because I have seen lots of content creators that are far more skilled than me, like Sylv and Rudy, that are just masters at this kind of thing. I'm aiming to be a tenth as good as they are, but I'm using them as inspiration as well. And there's been lots of other content creators as well that I've really enjoyed viewing. So we come into the entrance where the guests will come, and I just love the way that the lighting creates these lens flares as you look through these flames. There's lots of work still to do, because when I built this I was not really quite as familiar with the pathing tool, so there's some really janky edges here that I'm sure I can sort out with a bit of extra work, but I wanted to make sure that the guests walk through the middle of this building rather than through the edge. Now also I'm pretty sure that I haven't done anything under these pillars here, so the guests will probably walk through these pillars, but I can sort that out now I'm a little bit more familiar. As we come out into the plaza, we're greeted by this Viking ship here. Now there is water down in the bottom of this cutout, so I basically cut out an octagon, sunk down the ground underneath and filled it full of water, and then a little bit of mist as well adds to the ambience. Over here is a guest services that I built from the windmill parts and stuck a shop in the side. Now I didn't intend this, but I have put some toilets and a staff building here down the side of this entrance building, just so it was a good use of the space. The next thing that I wanted to do was build a raised area just over here where the guests could overlook the park and also get something to eat. So it's slightly raised, it's overlooking this lake just here, and then I've got some stools that I built for the guests to come and have a bite to eat and sit and overlook this nice waterfall and lake just here as they eat. Then we're going up towards my first roller coaster that I built, but on the way we're going to see the gift shop, because that's an essential part of the plaza. Now there are 3 stalls in there that I built a counter for, so we've got the Just a Memento, Looney Balloons and Hats Fantastic, and then these shelves just here were borrowed off the workshop, so I'll put a link for those down in the description of where I got those from. Then I wanted a sightline just here, almost a weenie but not quite, because there was a raised section on the map as I started, and I thought this would be a great place to build the station for my roller coaster, because I'm a bit of a Lord of the Rings fan, so you might be able to tell that this is inspired by Edoras from the second Lord of the Rings film. And this was my station, and the train comes out of the station and then goes downhill just here under its own gravity before entering a launch section just here to take it round the rest of the track. Now again, I'm not going to do a ride in this video. If you are interested, we'll do a POV on the ride in another video, but it basically goes around this valley that was part of the original landscape. This bit of a valley just here was again part of the original landscape, so I took it through here, did a loop underneath there, and then it circles back and does a roll over the path before going back into the valley. Whoops. And then coming back to the station. Pretty much the only landscaping I did here was to raise this area here and flatten the top of it for building this plaza just here, where the guests go into the station, and then once they come out there's some more food stalls just here. Then the next thing I built was this hammer swing just here. I did some coloration of the uprights just to bring it into a similar kind of theme. Then I stuck obviously a few things on the side of the windmill, but the main thing that I built for this ride was this sign just here for Thor's hammer, and that was a big build. It took quite a long while using lots of different pieces just to make it stand out and hide the side of this ride a little bit and make it a little bit more individual. And then the queue line has been built up with rocks and foliage just as it goes around the back of this ride. Then the final thing that I've been working on, and this is very much still a work in progress, is this roller coaster here. Now I am really proud of the roller coaster itself. It rides really well and it's got really good ratings, and I've called it the Flight of the Valkyries because I did a bit of a search for a Norse myth, and the Valkyries seem to go quite well because this is a hanging roller coaster, so it's one of those roller coasters where you lie down and fly, so I thought it fit really well. And the myth has it that there are 9 Valkyries, and now they are female unfortunately, and these are male looking statues, but there are 9 of these Valkyries dotted around. You can probably see them all here, but I did quite a bit of work to actually just alter the landscape to fit the ride. I started off by building the path from this plaza to the station, and then started building the roller coaster to fit around the landscape and the pathing. I dug this trench here so that the roller coaster there goes underneath the path, just so there's some really interesting moments as the guests are queuing up. And then this big loop here I think is quite interesting because I dug out a section here and filled it with water, and then got the path to go over the top of this loop. There's a really nice section just here that still needs some work, but as the guests come along the path you get this really nice sight line down this little bit of a valley, and then you see the roller coaster come up through this valley as well. I think that's really nice. I'm going to do a bit more planting and maybe even some waterfalls in there, and then we come around finally to what is a fairly simple station. I've not spent a lot of time on this station. It's more of a cover more than anything else, but I still need to work on this area. Now Now this was just a very quick video to introduce you to myself and show you my park so far, but if you would be interested in more details about how I built any of these rides and the pieces that I use, or just following how this park progresses, then do let me know down below in the comments, and do consider clicking the like, subscribe and the bell notifications, because that way you'll stay up to date with all of my future releases. It's very new for me being on YouTube and particularly being on Planet Coaster, but hopefully you'll enjoy seeing this park progress. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.